Hello guys, now I've come to learn that there are three different types of atheists, okay? There's the first atheist, that's the person that we usually know as an atheist. Person who does not believe in God for whatsoever reason, okay? They don't believe there is a God, these are people who usually tend to, but they are actually interested in knowing or learning more about God so that they can understand if there is a God, alright? There is the second type of atheist, and this is the type of person who deep down they acknowledge there is an existence of a God, but they hate him so much that they'd rather resort to a coping mechanism of saying that he doesn't exist. And when you hear them argue, they're always arguing the case of his character rather than the case of his existence. Oh, if your God is so good, why did he do this? Oh, if your God is so good, why did he do this? But they're not creating an argument for his existence at all. And if they are, they're not paying as much attention to it than the amount of attention they're giving to the character. Why? Because deep down they acknowledge his existence, but they just hate him so much, and they've rejected him, and they don't want to acknowledge that, so they'd rather hide in the coping mechanism of there is no God. Alright? That's the second type of atheist. Now, the third type of an atheist is what we call the devil's agent. Alright? This is an atheist who is keen on evangelizing atheism for no reason whatsoever. So it's the same way that the Christians are going to send the mission work to, or they're going to do evangelism to try and convert non-believers to believers. Now we have evangelical atheists. These are people who are so keen on pushing you away from God, alright? And they're going to make any argument against the case of God. And usually they tend to manifest the same way as the second type that I've mentioned. They hate God so much they'd rather pull his people away from him. So they are stealing from the fold. They are atheists, but they are devil's agents working as atheists. So those are the three types of atheists that I've encountered, and you need to be very careful when someone tells you they're an atheist. By the way they speak, by the way they present their case on the matter of God, you can figure out who they are. Alright? The first type, very curious on this God topic, but they don't believe he exists because the evidence that is out there is not enough to convince them. The second case, they just hate God. They hate him so much, but they resort to the coping mechanism of acknowledging he doesn't exist. And the third person, these are the people who are going to pull you away from God. So beware.